welcome. My name is Vitalis Esala. Last time we spoke about the second habit of mine, which is dealing with impulsivity. Today we are going to talk about the next habit of mine, which is listening to understand. How much would you pay someone who offered to sit tight, the elbows fixed on the table with the hands on the mouth, and tilted forward toward you, listening to you for as long as it takes until you had nothing more to add, whether your speech was stressful, accusatory, or praiseful? Or what was the last time you listened to someone from start to end without interrupting? Those that listen possess the most powerful spiritual strength only known to able leaders. You will not understand if you do not listen. You will not be productive if you don't leave your seat to step in another person's shoes, which is empathy. Let's consider these terms more in depth, one at a time. My mentor had a big impact in my life. He is an impactful person. He once told me that listening is an act of love. If you don't love someone, you will not listen to that person. I couldn't agree more. Those that listen have friends. Even if they don't have too many friends, which is not healthy anyways, they have good friends and their friendships last. The opposite of that statement is also true. Those that listen less have less friends. In addition to what I just said, listening is an art. You cannot play the guitar if you do not understand how it works. I took guitar lessons, but I can't play it. You must understand an instrument or an art to practice it. The best thing with any art is that you master it by doing it. Listening is no different. You master the art of listening by practicing listening. Now, listening to understand is different from listening to react. The mistake we all make is that we listen for a very short time and we are ready to react. We do it when we argue with someone and we do it when we chat amicably as well. But the best results come when we open ourselves to listening to understand. If you are curious to know how, you must be a good listener. Listen to this. Andy Eklund is a communication coach. He said that the biggest communication problem is that we don't listen to understand, we listen to reply. A study at Princeton University found that there is a gap between what we hear and what we understand. One reason for that gap is that we listen to ourselves even in a conversation instead of listening to each other. Ironically, Julian Treasure, another authority in the field of communication, says that we spend 60% of our time listening to others. So, what's the matter? The matter is that we listen without understanding. Have you ever had to listen to two sounds at a time? Take for instance, your friend is telling you something on Skype, and your baby you is telling you an exciting story right beneath the table. Sometimes all you do is to say insignificant things to each of them. You might interject with, yes, okay. That's all you can do. It is one thing to listen and another to understand. By the time I'm done here, I hope you will improve your listening and understanding. There is a filter in our mind that only picks up what we want to hear. It is what matches our opinion. Let me take a very extreme example. If you are super conservative, you can understand that some people are attracted to the people of their gender. You are so shunning about it that you won't even let anyone tell you that circumstances can make some people to shift their preferences. In such a conversation, you will only listen to what your mind is telling you. That is one of the reasons we don't understand what we hear. Another likely reason is that our brain drifts to other questions while listening to someone. Now, while I can't guarantee you that you will master 100% of the art of listening to understand, you can at least gain some percentages if you do what I'm about to tell you.
Those tips I'm about to give you will help you in any environment and circumstance when you need to listen. When you listen to others, there are two alternatives. Either you believe that what the other person is saying is true or it's false. If you believe that it is false, then the communication becomes distracted and your understanding becomes jeopardized. But if you believe that what they say is true, then you will look for reasons why it is true. You will start to listen to the context, the process of what the other person is saying, even when you don't understand what the speaker is saying literally. You will make an intelligent effort to understand. That's one tip. I'm not going to ask you to believe what other people say or disbelieve, as that would not be appropriate for me. But what I would suggest is that when you listen to someone, believe that there is something true in what the other person is saying. If you do this, you will search through the statement to find out what could be true about it.
The more you search, the more you will understand. You see that understanding does not necessarily mean remembering the words of the other person, but remembering the idea, which is the context, the rationale, or the reason why they say what they say, and the state of mind in which they are when they are telling you their story. To get to this point, I'm going to give you a list of 7 things that Andy Eckland has found. 1. Get rid of outside distraction. 2. Open your mind. 3. Listen for the big picture, not the details. 4. Note, but don't judge. Non-verbal communication. 5. Do not jump to conclusions or interrupt. 6. Paraphrase the big picture, then add in details. And 7. Challenge yourselves first. The topic is so important that I'm going to list here 10 other tips that Diane Schilling designed for an effective listening. You can access these resources depending on where you listen. Diane says that 1. Face the speaker. 2. Be attentive but relaxed. 3. Be attentive. We repeat ourselves here. 4. Listen to the words and try to picture what the speaker is saying. 5. Don't interrupt and don't impose your solutions. 6. Wait for the speaker to pause to ask clarifying questions. 7. Ask questions only to ensure understanding. 8. Try to feel what the speaker is feeling. 9. Give the speaker regular feedback. 10. Pay attention to what isn't said, to nonverbal cues. You can take it anywhere you want. These tips are very important. If at any time you have a question and you want a quick answer, get hold of me by visiting my website www.actonyourdreamtoday.com. Go to contact and shoot me a message. Also, make sure you download my free ebook called 50 Ideas to Inspire You. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Vitalis S. Sala. Meet me in the next video where we will talk about the next habit of mine.